It is always fun when DuckTales calls back and makes references to either the original DuckTales series or to other Disney afternoon cartoons that aired roughly the same time. I'm Barry, John Barry, and today we are reviewing DuckTales Season 3, Episode 3, Double O Duck, You Only Crash Twice. So, let's talk about it. So, this episode really much, there's a lot of references and callbacks, probably more so than some of the others. Let's start out with one of the most obvious callbacks. That being the callback to the 48th episode of the original DuckTales series, which was DuckTales Double O Duck. And so this episode is a callback to that. In fact, the augmented reality game that Launchpad and Dewey are playing at Funzo's actually uses the same plot as that original episode. You know, roughly the same characters and all that, so that is just neat. I only have a vague remembrance of the episode. I really should have watched it just as a refresher. But yeah, so that is such a neat thing. And also that episode serves as kind of a soft pilot for the original premise of Darkwing Duck. So that's just another connection there. But probably the one that most of you are expecting me to talk about is the references to James Bond. Because, you know, 007, Double O Duck, that's obviously, you know, saying the last name then the first name. It's like, those are all references really to James Bond and the franchise surrounding him. And a lot of the spy stuff as well. In fact, the title of this episode does parody the title of a James Bond film. That film being You Only Live Twice. Now, I've never actually watched any James Bond films. I've just seen clips here and there on YouTube. So, yeah. But apparently the fight scene between Launchpad and Steelbeak is actually modeled and based off of a fight scene in the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. Again, never seen it, but apparently it's so. But, so yeah, those are some nice, neat callbacks. But we also get some callbacks to Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which I'm only a few episodes away from actually finishing on Disney Plus, and I really need to actually do that. So if you want me to review the series of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, let me know. I'll throw a poll up, actually. But, this episode does introduce those characters into the DuckTales world. And the characters, of course, you know, are Chip, Dale, Gadget, Marjorie, Jack, and Zippo. And the character I think we get the most screen time for is Gadget. And there's a reason for that, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit before I address the theme song for Chip and Dale. An instrumental version of the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers actually plays twice during the episode. And both times are kind of them is their first major appearance, like when we can clearly identify all of them, and then the second appearance during the fight scene between Launchpad and Steelbeak. And so, let's actually talk about the plot itself. So basically, Fowl is basically one of the Fowl scientists has made an intelligence ray, and of course uses the Rescue Rangers to test the ray, and that's how they get their intelligence in the DuckTales universe. Of course, if you go on Reddit, you'll see people like, okay, how did it make clothes? Doesn't matter, all that. But yeah, so that's how apparently the characters are coming to be in DuckTales. A Fowl experiment gave them more intelligence, and then they go on to help the heroes. First by helping Launchpad and Dewey actually escape from Fowl. Free them from the cell that Fowl had them in. And actually I should say that that is how that happens, kind of interesting. What it happens during that augmented reality game at Funzo's, basically Steelbeak comes in and then basically is able to capture Launchpad and Dewey by tricking them to go into the ball pit at Funzo's, which leads to his hidden Fowl lair. And they get captured, though Steelbeak was only told to get rid of Scrooge McDuck, not capture his family, so that failed. But then again, what Scrooge was doing was playing skee balls the entire time because he discovered, one, a game that some were interested in him, and tickets. And yeah, So that's what Scrooge was doing the entire time, just getting thousands of tickets, and in the end, all he got was a little mustache comb. Just crazy. But yeah, tickets at a lot of arcades, yeah, you definitely spend a lot of money to get very little, unless you're super, super lucky. But so yeah, and then should also state that Launchpad gets zapped with the intelligence ray as well and becomes smart. And of course, so he ends up basically adopting the role of 00 Duck in reality. And Still Big wants to use the intelligence ray's other function to basically make people dumber, to make the entire city of Duckburg dumber. So basically he will be smart by comparison. Who does that remind me of? Oh well. I guess some platypus will take care of that other character. But anyhow, Launchpad saves the day, and basically he sacrifices his newfound intelligence in order to protect the rest of Duckburg from the basically now unintelligence ray by taking the full brunt of it. And then of course now, but the intelligent part of him is still there. They're basically yelling at him to basically warn Scrooge McDuck of Fowl's evil intentions against him. But of course, now that he's dumb again, it doesn't get through. But us, the audience, get to hear his intelligence part. Basically, tell them! Unfortunately, no. But basically, Launchpad's intelligence side knows that his unintelligent side is basically the only person capable of actually taking the full blast of an unintelligent ray and being that dumb. Which is actually quite interesting. And actually I should say, speaking of all the stuff going on with Fowl, we get a lot of time with the character of Steelbeak, which he made. I don't remember if he made an appearance in the 00 Duck episode of the original DuckTales, but I know he did make some appearances in Darkwing Duck. And this to say, I think they've definitely made him more of this kind of character who thinks he's the smartest, but isn't really that smart kind of character, which is basically the character who doesn't know their own limits. And of course, being the villain, who knows if there'll actually be any kind of character arc for him. We gotta wait to see, but it's always possible. And actually, the Fowl scientist that developed the intelligence ray actually appeared in a previous episode of this DuckTales series as well, in season 1, I believe. The episode I know was a Webby episode, and involved Scrooge and of course Mrs. Beakley. I should have a review of that episode, so you can go check that out if you're so interested. But there's a lot I could also discuss. But one, I hope we get more appearances from the Rescue Rangers in DuckTales, because I would be very fascinated. Now, I do want to say that we didn't see the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Ranger characters talk, but we're actually more seeing them from the perspective of the humans, for lack of a better term, because it's in a lot of in Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers as a show. They could communicate with themselves and other animals, but not the humans of the show. So in DuckTales, it seems like they're treating basically the ducks and also the other anthropomorphic animals that behave just like humans as the humans. And so Chip 'n Dale and the Rescue Rangers, they can talk among themselves, but not necessarily to the other characters. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or they are going to be able to communicate. But that would be something that's worth seeing, and I hope we do get that explored a bit more. I actually read on Reddit that somebody thought it would be fun if Chip and Dale basically are trying to help Donald, but Donald doesn't recognize that they're trying to help him, and so that way there can be some callbacks and parodies to some of the interactions between those characters that we've seen in other Disney cartoons and shows, which I actually really like that idea as well. And of course we're going to get more with Fowl. I have a feeling the Rescue Rangers probably will be involved somehow in that plot, because if you introduce them, you got to use them. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? I would love to hear them down in the comment section. So thank you for watching. If you haven't already liked this video, please do so, or dislike it if you prefer. Also, be sure to check me out on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description, as well as other links for my Discord server if you would like to join, and my Patreon page if you would like to help support this channel. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already, and ring the bell so you can stay up to date on when the latest DuckTales review comes out. Be sure to check out the video or the playlist on screen now, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one, and stay healthy.